Warning, be careful where you get your information about the Disney DAS, or the Disability Access Service. My name's StHooch, and I am an ex-Walt Disney World and Disneyland Paris cast member. Recently, some Disney creators have given information out regarding the Disney DAS, and unfortunately, it's either misleading or it's just not correct. So please find an accurate source in order to get details about DAS.
Afraid of visiting Disney World because of a disability or sensitivity? I'm here to share with you why you should let that go. There are services in place for guests with hearing disabilities, cognitive, physical disabilities.
So first, in this example, if you look at the caption that was at the top of the video, you can either rewind it or it'll continue after this portion. It says Disney caters to every disability. This is not the case, and this is an extremely dangerous statement to make. One example that affects many people, and that's dialysis. Disney does not offer any facilities on Disney property, put a little star by that because I'll explain in just a moment, that offer services for guests needing dialysis services. They do not offer them at the resorts, hotels, anywhere. However, there is a Florida hospital on property that does have facilities that can accommodate those needing dialysis. You cannot call Florida Hospital and just arrange that. If you need dialysis while you're on a Walt Disney World trip, you must contact your dialysis coordinator at your facility that you go to during the week. They will then find and research for you different facilities in the area that can accommodate you for dialysis during your trip. This may or may not include Florida Hospital. Also, you will be responsible for transportation if you're staying on Disney property to go from your resort or park, whatever, to the dialysis center and back to property. So that's a huge example of how Disney does not cater to every disability.
Service dogs are even permitted in the Disney parks.
If you rely on a service animal, there's a very good chance that you know that the ADA allows you to bring a service animal in any area that is accessible to the public.
Walt had a dream to make this magic available to everyone. Cast members are trained to assist and accommodate, and it's such a beautiful thing to see.
Lower your expectations. Yes, are cast members trained to accommodate guests to the best of their ability? Yes, that is correct. But keep in mind, when you are loading or unloading a ride vehicle, for instance, when I was a trainer at Splash Mountain, when a guest would need extra help to get into the log, we were not allowed to help them into the log as far as picking them up. All we could offer was a palm up. That's all you can offer a guest. If they're struggling to get out of the chair to transfer from a chair or ECV into the log, all you can do is offer that one hand up. Sometimes we had guests say, "Can you help me? Can you lift me up?" No, because it's a liability. A lot of times their family members will have to take on that extra lifting in order to get them into, or the extra responsibility to get them into the ride vehicle.
There are even some ride vehicles where you can take your ECV or wheelchair on the actual ride. That way you don't have to transfer. If you do transfer onto the ride, cast members will even take your wheelchairs and ECVs from the entrance to the exit, so you don't have to walk very far to get back to them.
To clarify this one point, they do not take your wheelchair or your ECV from the entrance of the attraction. They will take it from the transfer point or at the load station. The load station is usually very close to or next to the unload area, which is the exit. So most of the queues are designed for you to go through. They will take your wheelchair and or ECV at the load area, not the entrance of the attraction.
You have food allergies, again, Disney caters to you. When you go to a sit-down restaurant, that's one of the first things that your server is going to ask you. Do you have any food allergies?
Disney servers are fantastic. However, sometimes they may forget to ask you that important question about food allergies. One rule of thumb is when you're making your priority seating or your dining reservations, go ahead and tell them what your food allergies are, and they will notate your account as you're making your priority seating or reservation. Your server will then see that on the information that they have, which will remind them to ask you if they weren't going to ask you. And if they don't bring it up or they don't ask you, you can tell them, "Hey, I have food allergies. May I speak to the chef?" And they'll say, "No problem," and they'll go back and get them. So don't feel awkward or anything asking to speak to the chef. It's a very common occurrence. And if they don't bring up the food allergies, then you make sure that you ask to speak to the chef and they'll take care of you.
If you do, a chef will come to you tableside and talk with you about what your allergies are and what you need. And at a lot of quick service locations, your meals can be ordered gluten-free. Just ask a cast member. I am not a cast member. I do not work for Disney, so I can only give you the basics on this topic. You can contact Disney directly at their disability service phone number and ask more questions. His dad has visited Disney with us several times now, and I'm so grateful for the way that Disney pays special attention to him. We were trying to exit a ride one evening, and he couldn't move fast enough to exit the ride. The cast members were paying attention and slowed the ride without us even asking. Every time we entered a ride, they always asked Dad what he needed. They always were sure to address him directly. They never looked past him to ask us what he needed, and I love that. There are special entrances for ECVs and wheelchairs.
Over the years, Disney's done a fantastic job at Walt Disney World of modifying and updating queues of older attractions so they are ADA compliant. Also, when they build new attractions, they also make those ADA compliant. So the days of special entrances and things like that, there aren't too many that rely on those special entrances. The reason why this is important is because if you are under the impression that you go through the exit or there's a special entrance for wheelchairs and ECVs, you may go up to the greeter of the attraction and say, "Excuse me, where's the exit?" And they're going to tell you where the exit is. Where actually the question should be, "Hi, I am traveling with a wheelchair or an ECV, as you can see. What do I need to do to enter the queue?" Then they will explain to you that you either enter the queue to a transfer point or that you can go all the way up to the ride vehicle and transfer at the vehicle. So if you were to ask where the exit is instead of what the accommodations are for your wheelchair, they're going to send you to the exit because that's exactly what you asked for. You didn't tell them why. You just asked, "Where's the exit?" So then you're going to go to the exit. There's going to be a cast member there, and they're going to ask if they can help you. And you're like, "Yeah, I'm here to get on the ride." And they're going to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to have to go to the entrance because wheelchairs and ECVs can go through the regular queue." So when you go to an attraction, do not ask where the exit is thinking that's the entrance for someone traveling with disabilities.
Can't tolerate waiting in line because of a disability, but you still want to go to Disney? You need to know about the DAS Pass. DAS stands for Disability Access Service. It's a service offered by Disney for guests who have difficulty tolerating extended waits in a conventional queue environment due to a disability. I'm going to explain how it works and then how you sign up. If you qualify, you register for a return time to an attraction or a ride on your My Disney Experience app. Instead of waiting in a traditional standby line, you're given a return window for when you can return to the ride or the attraction, which means you can wait in the park anywhere you want to. That return window starts about 10 minutes before the length of time you would have waited in the standby queue, which means if Haunted Mansion is a 45-minute wait currently, you're going to wait about 35 minutes to be able to return to that ride. When you're
Basically, the DAS works like a lightning lane. You are not guaranteed how long you have to wait. Usually that is dependent on how long the current wait is, especially for lightning lane guests. Have you ever purchased a lightning lane and it says come back hours later or there's a long wait? That's how long sometimes you'll have to wait even with a DAS, because the DAS pass is not about shortening your time to wait. It is about accommodating you while you have to put in the time.
return window begins, you can head to your ride or attraction. You'll scan in through the lightning lane, showing that you have that disability access pass. Once you qualify, your DAS is valid for 60 days and you can have 5 additional guests on your DAS pass. But you must be at the ride every single time. You have to scan in first before all of your guests join the ride with you. There are 2 ways to sign up for DAS. One, you can do a pre-registration 30 days in advance of your check-in day. You'll do a live video chat with a cast member and discuss why you can't tolerate waiting in those lines. The person registering for the DAS must be present and the one to have the conversation with the cast member. Once you're registered, they will also help you book 2 one-hour return windows for select experiences. You can also have the same conversation on your very first day that you arrive at the park. The very first thing you'll need to do is head to a guest relations and speak with a cast member. If you're planning to rope drop or want to maximize your time, I would definitely have that phone call ahead of time and get this handled. I am not a cast member. I cannot tell you what qualifies. Also, a warning, if they catch you abusing this service, they can ban you and trespass you from the parks. Do you need Genie Plus with this service? You don't have to have it, and this is really a personal preference. Genie Plus is completely separate and it will cut down on that amount of time that you wait to return between rides. But when you're waiting, you can do anything that you want to do in the park, so you can fill that time eating or visiting other attractions.
In closing, be very careful when you're researching information about the Disability Access Service from Disney. There are a lot of creators out there that they want to help and they think they know enough about it, and then you end up with videos like this that are just giving out blatantly wrong information. And that wrong information is going to waste a tremendous amount of your time. So make sure you, at the end of the day, when in doubt, call Disney and they'll be able to answer your questions. But seek out people, ask online in TikTok, who do you recommend that knows their stuff about DAS? And it's okay to ask and just get names. And if people start repeating the same names, then that's who you need to go to. But people who just do park reviews and they stream in the park, and just because they make a DAS video does not necessarily mean that they are accurate with their information. So if you like this video and you'd like to see more like this, please give me a like and follow. It's greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments if you have experience with DAS, and how you feel about the comments and my rebuttal with this opinion piece. And until next time, hooch on.